Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has finally happened. A grand jury in Atlanta, Georgia has handed down 10 indictments against former President Donald J. Trump. The indictments were expected. Everybody knew this one was in the wind. Fani Willis and her grand jury in Atlanta had been working on this for quite some time, a 2.5 year investigation, and now it's finally come to fruition. Everybody was expecting this, but what they weren't expecting was something that happened earlier in the day, which throws a whole lot of controversy on this entire proceeding. What am I talking about? Hang on, folks. We're going to get into all of that in just 1 second. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative. Step on up to my electronic front porch and let's talk. It happened late this evening, Monday, August the 14th, 2023. An indictment has been handed down against former President Donald Trump in a Georgia courthouse. A grand jury, which has been convened for quite some time now at the behest of Atlanta District Attorney Fani Willis, who we here on the front porch affectionately refer to as Old Fanny Pack. Fanny Pack and the grand jury have now handed down 10 individual indictments against former President Donald Trump. Now, as of the recording of this video, we don't know specifically what they are. The indictments have not been unsealed. That will probably happen a couple of hours from now in the very wee hours of the morning on August the 15th. Translation, when you're getting up, getting ready to go to work, those indictments will have been unsealed and we will know exactly what they are. Now, don't worry. When we're going to do an analysis video of this tomorrow, it'll be posted on my YouTube channel and my Rumble channel Wednesday morning on the 16th of August. Now, in the meanwhile, let's talk about the fact that these indictments have been handed down, but let's also talk about something very controversial that happened earlier in the day that is tainting this entire process. Start first with the indictments. We go to the inestimable website of the legendary John Solomon. Headline: Georgia grand jury hands down 10 indictments, subjects still unnamed. The indictment comes 2.5 years after Willis started her investigation. Article written by Ben Whedon and Madeline Hubbard. A Georgia grand jury approved 10 indictments in Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis's election probe, signing off on every indictment prosecutors brought to it. The indictments come 2.5 years after Willis started her investigation in former President Donald Trump's efforts to challenge the 2020 presidential election results in the Peach State. None of the targets of the indictments have been named as of press time. Barricades went up last week around the Fulton County Courthouse in preparation for the announcement. Willis, who is black, also told employees that she received racist threats over the matter, according to the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. As recently as Monday, the district attorney's office was still subpoenaing witnesses. Reporter George Chides said in The Intercept that he received a subpoena Monday to testify for the second time before a Fulton County jury about what he saw during a December 2020 meeting of Georgia's so-called, quote, alternate electors, at least 11 of whom are targets in the probe. Okay, that is from justthenews.com. That's what we know so far. There are 10 indictments. They have now officially been handed down. As a matter of fact, that kind of gets to something else. There were reporters waiting in the courtroom when the official from the courthouse walked it into the judge for the judge to sign off on it and then walk it over to the clerk. How did the reporters know that this was happening? Good question. Which is something else that somebody is noticing. Take a look at this. This is from the Twitter page of Simon Atiba, who is the chief White House correspondent for Today News Africa. Breaking. Real Donald Trump has been officially indicted in Fulton County, Georgia. This is the fourth indictment ahead of the 2024 election. It is believed that this was done to maximize trials during the primaries and the presidential election next year. Left-leaning media were tipped off, and NBC News has already reported 10 indictments. Many now regard it as the pinnacle of election interference in the United States of America. Give it to old Simon. He always sums up everything pretty accurately, or at least with good perspective. Now, that's the indictments. That happened late tonight, Monday the 14th. But earlier in the day, something very bizarre happened. I want to take you to the Twitter page of the social media influencer Mike Cernovich. Take a look at this. Fulton County DA indicted Trump under Georgia's RICO law. Reuters obtained the documents. The grand jury is still meeting. The law isn't being followed. This is state-sponsored lynching. Okay, what's he talking about? Well, let me show you something. Earlier in the day, Reuters got a hold of something that was straight off the Fulton County DA's website. Basically, what they got, and I'll show an enlarged version of it here. This is again from Cernovich's own Twitter page. These two pages, this is case information. Look at this. This is a case number that's assigned, date filed, a courtroom listed, general complex. A judge has been assigned. What's the matter in question? State of Georgia versus Donald J. Trump. Defendant, Donald John Trump. Lists all his information. And the charges in the indictment are already on the DA's website. Let me say that again. The charges were already on the DA's website. Now, they were pulled down almost immediately, but they were up for long enough for Reuters to get their hands on it and print what was out there. Let me show you to you again. Take a look at this. Charge 1, violation of Georgia RICO, Racketeering, Influence, and Corruption Organizations Act. Solicitation of violation of oath by public officer, conspiracy to commit impersonating a public officer, conspiracy to commit forgery, conspiracy to commit false statements, conspiracy to commit filing false documents, on and on and on. There were 40 different charges listed on the DA's website, but the grand jury was still meeting. Now, the DA's office says, oh, this was a mistake. This was erroneous. It was a false document. We don't know how it ever got up there, yada, yada, yada. Well, Charlie Kirk brings up a very good point from Turning Point USA. Take a look at his Twitter page because he's got a very valid point. A Fulton County clerk has issued a statement that the Trump indictment documents temporarily posted online were, quote, fictitious. This so-called fictitious indictment document had an assigned case number and a judge before the grand jury even deliberated. Georgia's Attorney General needs to immediately take this clown show off of a case. It's rigged. Okay, I don't necessarily disagree with where Charlie's going with this, but I want to point out he's right. If this was some kind of fictitious document, how come it already had a case number assigned to it? How is there already a judge assigned to it? And where are all these charges coming from? The grand jury was still deliberating this whole thing, yet somehow 40 different charges against Trump are put out on a website that belongs to the DA? This is crazy. Now, for me, the test is this. If any of these 10 charges match up against the 40 that were put out on the DA's website from earlier this afternoon, to me, what that means is they knew what they already wanted to charge him with. They just needed to make it official. In simpler language, they already had the charges ready. Didn't matter what the grand jury was going to do. Fani Willis has absolutely had a Jones to get Donald Trump for years, and now she's got the ability to do it. This is an absolute sham. Now, Will the posting of these charges in advance of the grand jury's vote cause this case to get thrown out? Well, most legal people I've listened to say no, that's not the case. But if nothing else, it shows you the bias of this district attorney in going after Donald Trump. It shows you that they're willing to just ignore precedent, ignore rules of the court, ignore everything else, because by George, they're going to get their scalp and they're going to get Donald Trump. Now, a couple of other considerations. Here's a statement. Now, when all this happened, here's a statement from Trump's attorneys. This is posted on Laura Loomer's Twitter page. This is the statement from Trump's attorneys. Quote, the Fulton County District Attorney's Office has once again shown they have no respect for the integrity of the grand jury process. This was not a simple administrative mistake, the posting of the 40 charges. The proposed indictment should only be in the hands of the District Attorney's Office, yet it somehow made its way to the clerk's office and was assigned a case number and a judge before the grand jury even deliberated. This is emblematic of the pervasive and glaring constitutional violations which have plagued this case from its very inception. A joint statement issued by Drew Feinling and Jennifer Little. Oh, my goodness. Oh, goodness. Now, for further reaction, let me take you to Megyn Kelly's website. She was interviewing Viva Frei today and also Peter Tragos. Listen to what Viva has to say about this.
Forgery in the first degree, among other charges listed. So multiple charges. Viva, let me just get your reaction. This is unbelievable. Like what kind of, like, there's nothing that's been handed down as far as we know from the grand juries. They post something, then they pull it on one of, if not the most important state case in the country right now.
Megan, it's corruption to the core. It is an abuse of the process. It is what will cause people to have absolutely no faith in the legal judicial process for decades to come. It's become a joke. And the idiot talking head blue checkmark fools on Twitter who are now thinking that somehow magically this fourth indictment, however many charges he's up to, 78, whatever, they think that's somehow evidence of his wrongdoing and not evidence of a system gone totally crazy in an attempt to try to punish Trump for being public enemy number one.
Okay, Viva is absolutely right. The fact that these charges got out before the grand jury ever finished their deliberations is just proof of how absolutely mad this whole thing is. And he's got a very, very valid point. People are going to look at this for what it actually is. Kangaroo court, banana republic tactics. We've been talking about this for weeks now in videos and on live streams. This is going to damage people's perception of the judicial system of the United States. And frankly, I don't care if you like Trump, don't like Trump, doesn't matter. If you have any love at all for civil liberties, if you have any love at all for the civil liberties of your fellow Americans, then what is going on right now between Alvin Bragg, Jack Boot Smith, and Fannie Pack Willis ought to be protested against to the highest level, to the maximum amount of voice that you've got, on the phone with your congressperson, on the phone with your senator, on the phone with your state officials, whomever it may be. And absolutely, this needs to be denounced. And frankly, where are the Republicans in this? Where's Governor Kemp of Georgia? Where's the Attorney General of Georgia? They can put a stop to this at any point they want to. Georgia signed a law into effect that gives the governor the authority to fire prosecutors. Well, here we've got one that is absolutely out for blood, not justice, political blood. And if she can get Donald Trump's scalp, she will absolutely do it. Folks, we're going to keep an eye on this. Like I said, this is all breaking. This is all very fast happening. The indictments will be unsealed in the very early hours of August 15th, Tuesday. We're going to have a reaction video to it Wednesday morning. It'll be posted as we normally do around 9:30 a.m. Eastern. I do hope you come back to watch it. We're going to try in the interim between now and the posting of that video to gather as much information about the charges that we can, do as much analysis as we can, gather as much opinion as we can, and present it all to you. I mean, anytime you come to my channel. I appreciate it. Please come back. We're going to have a reaction video to all this. So this is what we know so far. And as always, please do me some favors. Number one, if you're not a subscriber to this channel, please do so. Number two, please leave a comment below. I want to know what you think about all this, and it also helps me out with the algorithm. Number three, please share the video around. Number four, hit the bell for notifications. I want to make sure you're always aware when we've got new videos or new material coming out. And number five, please give me a thumbs up. My name is Brian Trippett. I am your front porch conservative, and I'll see you next time.